Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness and legendary frontman of Black Sabbath, has lived a life that defies explanation, filled with wild highs, terrifying lows, and a resilience that has stunned even his most loyal fans. But in recent years, the world has been asking with growing concern, what really happened to Ozzy Osbourne? The rock icon, now in his mid-70s, has endured a heartbreaking series of health struggles that have slowly pulled him away from the stage he once ruled with. Electric presence and unmatched intensity. While his legacy as a music pioneer remains untouched, his physical condition has rapidly deteriorated, turning his once chaotic life into a painful battle for mobility and dignity. After decades of intense touring, substance abuse, and physical, where Ozzy was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2019, though he later admitted he'd been battling the condition privately for years. It was a devastating admission, not only to fans but also to the man himself, who had built his life on energy, rebellion, and the power of performance. But Parkinson's was only the beginning of his troubles. In 2020, a severe fall at home aggravated an old spinal injury from a quad bike accident, leaving him in excruciating pain and forcing him to undergo multiple surgeries. The combination of Parkinson's, nerve damage, and chronic pain left Ozzy nearly immobile, relying on walking aids and struggling with even the simplest tasks. Public appearances became rare, and when they did happen, they painted a tragic picture of a man who once ran wild across global stages, now moving with caution and visible discomfort. Despite these overwhelming challenges, Ozzy remained remarkably open, with fans continuing to appear in interviews, podcasts, and even returning to the studio to release new music, including his 2022 album Patient No. 9, which symbolically captured his fight for survival. His voice, though not as fierce as it once was, still carried the grit and emotion of a true survivor. Behind the scenes, his wife Sharon and children, especially Kelly and Jack, have stood by him, offering support and sharing updates on his condition with the world. Sharon, who has been with Ozzy through decades of chaos, described his condition as a long road of uncertainty, but praised his determination to keep going, despite the pain. Ozzy himself has admitted that there were moments he felt like giving up, moments of darkness where even his love for music couldn't outweigh the suffering. Yet he pushed forward, driven by the desire to connect with fans and not let illness define his final years. Now, Ozzy spends much of his time resting and rehabilitating, but his sense of humor and unique personality remain. Though it's unlikely he'll ever tour again, he's made peace with that reality, focusing instead on enjoying time with his family and continuing his creative work as much as his health allows. For fans who watched him bite the head off a bat, scream through stadiums, and embody the very spirit of rock rebellion, it's hard to see their hero in such a fragile state. Yet perhaps Ozzy's greatest act of strength isn't in his past antics, but in his refusal to let illness steal his spirit. The world hasn't just watched Ozzy live, they've watched him fight. And no matter what happens next, he remains a symbol of wild, enduring, and unbreakable rock and roll.